This is Walton Hall, famous for being the home of the naturalist Charles Waterton, who made this place the first recognised nature reserve in Britain and possibly the world. But my name is Mary Waterton, nee Edmonstone, and I lived here too. I was born on the 14th of July, 1810, in a place called Demerara in British Guyana. My family's personal story is complicated. My father was Charles Edmonstone, who was born in Strathblane, Scotland. Like many rich men at the time, he sought to use the abundant resources of Demerara and established a timber-cutting estate. While there, Charles married my mother, Helen Reid. It is through my mother that my sisters and I can claim our Arawak heritage, as my grandfather William married a princess, Princess Minda of Demerara. My father Charles used his connections to the Arawak tribe to find and recapture and sometimes even kill African people, whom the British and other rich nations had enslaved. It is fair to say that you cannot understand mine and my sister's story without knowing the awful legacy our family was a part of and which contributed to our fortune. By 1822, when I was 11, our family had returned to Scotland. My father bought Cardross Park in Dumbarton, where we lived for many years. My father, Charles, had a strong friendship with a man named Charles Waterton, with whom he would regularly correspond. Through their letters, they conversed about many subjects, including their health, naturalism, farming, and us, myself and my sisters. By June 1827, in my 16th year, my marriage to Charles Waterton had been arranged, as had his access to my fortune, which would be used to pay for my education, my conversion to Catholicism, and my comfort throughout my life. So, with my sister Eliza, I departed for the English convent school in Bruges, where I would learn about my new faith. My family and I corresponded often during these years. My beloved father, I like the convent very much for the short time I have been within its walls. I am quite happy and already feel much attached to some of the nuns. I once intended to have written to Mr. Waterton, but write I cannot. My hand shakes so much. Give our kindest love to Helen and say that I shall write to her very soon, also to Charles and Robert, Bethia and Miss Foyer. My father died in November 1827, and the following November I was accepted into the Roman Catholic faith. I married Charles Waterton on the 18th of May, 1829. My dearest Helen, my marriage dress was a gown of fine crush muslin over a sarcenet slip, white satin shoes and silk stockings, white veil and a very handsome chemisette. Helen, my dearest Helen, write me soon and believe me always to be your attached sister, Mary Waterton. As winter of 1829 visited us, I confided in my sister Eliza that I was in the family way, a subject that was difficult to talk about. I swore her to secrecy. I must confess I felt ashamed whenever the subject was brought up. So ill was I that I could not travel to visit my family, a distance that pained me. and even more so because my sister Eliza had also fallen ill. Helen, meanwhile, had arrived safely at the convent school in Bruges, where she too had begun her religious education. Charles and I were married again in St. Helen's Church in Sandal on the 20th of December 1829. My pregnancy grew no easier, with extreme discomfort, particularly in my back. I was ordered by our doctors to avoid all exertion, to try to manage the pain. My little Edmund was born on the 7th of April, 1830, a joyous occasion which I hoped to celebrate with my sister-in-law, Helen Carr. But it was not to be. Puerperal fever following childbirth ended my life, and I was buried on the 30th of April in the Waterton vault of St. Helen's Church, Sandal. My Edmund lived a full and long, if not trouble-free, life. My name is Mary Waterton, nee Edmonstone, and I lived at Walton Hall too.